Hi, everyone who's joined us. Today is a very, very exciting day for us because we have with us the very amazing Christina. So first, I'm going to introduce the topic a bit. Um, so it's one thing to understand or find your purpose. That's, let's say, half the battle, but the other very important half is to actually be able to go out there and do it, right? And one very important part of that is to be able to speak about it, and what you have to offer to be able to go and get there. And so to do just that, or to tell us how to do just that, we have with us the very amazing Christina here, who will talk about her experiences and how. I'm just going to give it over to you, Christina.
Thank you so much, Nishimida. You are making me sound so wonderful. I just hope I live up to your expectations, my dear. My little disclaimer is that I'm here to share my story and what I know, what I've learned from my experience. And my aim is to help you think about how to speak about yourself and your work in a way that helps your practice, your business grow while still being authentic, while still being yourself. So let's get to the nitty-gritty. I'm going to share my screen and start the presentation. Yeah, so this is me. This is a very authentic photo. We had a little chat with Nishimita about the photo, and we said, okay, it's me. I'm talking about the courage to be ourselves, to embrace our voice as a coach. So here I am. Just a second. Yes. So who am I really? My roles. I'm a personal leadership coach. I also work as a trainer, and in the past year, I've started working as a coach supervisor. I'm currently leading EMCC Cyprus. I'm the elected president for EMCC Cyprus. I'm also volunteering for the EMCC Global Work Group for Social Responsibility, co-leading a project, social responsibility or solidarity project in Africa with a colleague in Malaysia. Hi, Vimala, if you're watching. And I'm also volunteering for youth leadership in conflict areas NGO, which is USA based. It's called Friends Forever International. And I've been also supporting OWAT, One Woman at a Time, that supports in turn women who have been abused at home, and a bunch of other stuff which will come in my story as I share it. So what are we here to do today? We did promise these three things. We'll talk about recognizing our own voice as a coach, the why behind who we are, the why connecting to the meaning of who we are, and how to effectively communicate our story digitally. Now, why digitally? Because our digital presence precedes us. It comes before us. People look at our online presence, our digital presence, before they even talk to us, whether it's a potential client, a potential collaborator, or a potential employer. And in a globalized world, especially the past 3 months during the pandemic lockdown, we have seen how connected we are digitally, how digital borders are something we can so easily transcend by just connecting. Like now we are, we came together where so many people from all around the world joining this webinar. I did have some digital marketeers, some collaborators, and others were clients. They commented on my digital presence. And it wasn't until they commented on it that I started consciously thinking about it. Previously, I was trying to communicate. So it started making me think about how we effectively communicate our story digitally. Why our story? Because that's what we're all about. It's what we come to share with the world. So how do we talk about our work experiences and about our learning journey in a way that attracts others, in a way that makes sense to other people and makes them want to come and talk to us and get to know us and work with us? The learning journey and the digital presence also obviously connect with branding and with the impact we want to create. I'm not going to talk about branding because I know in the context of this webinar series, there has been a webinar dedicated to that, but it's something we do need to mention, we do need to consider, especially thinking that it's our brand out there, you know, that people get to know before they get to know us. And that, of course, connects to the impact we want to create. Now, as we go along, please feel free to ask any questions in the chat box, and I will kindly ask Nishimita to give me a heads up when we have a question. I'm happy to pause and answer any questions you may have. Now, thinking of the digital presence, right? Where do we do that? Where do we communicate that? It can be on our website, on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter, on YouTube, on Snapchat, and so on, and so on, and so on. There are so many channels, and it's really important to choose some and focus. Unless you have a whole team working for you, then you can cover all the channels. That would be amazing. But if you're a solopreneur like me, or if you're building your coaching practice now, if you're starting now, then it's really important to choose some channels and focus, because consistency is important. I'm not saying you should post every day, but consistency is important because it creates an engagement and a communion with the audience. There are some expectations created there, and people want to hear what you have to say next. So as we go along, I will be sharing examples from my own story. So the examples here from my digital presence, I'm sharing the channels that I chose to focus on: my website, my LinkedIn profile, my Facebook page, and my Instagram. Now, none of these is perfect, as no one is perfect. I do try to be very active on social media. I do admit my website needs an update, and that's fine. I allow myself, you know, error, like human error is okay, because it's a learning experience. I gather feedback on my digital presence, and I go back and improve. Feedback is really important because our digital presence is there to communicate something. If the message is reaching people, and the form in which the message is reaching people is really important to know. So we keep improving in this journey. Now, who are you? Let's go back to basics. Let's go back to who we are so that we can build our communication on that. What makes you who you are? Think about that for a second. And what are your core values? I always find that going back to values is the best way to align with colleagues, align with friends, align my work, so that I find meaning in it, and so that I can communicate that meaning externally. When I'm communicating this meaning, I'm bringing my values to life, and my values connect directly to the impact I want to create in the world. I couldn't leave out Socrates, one of my favorite philosophers. I did study philosophy for my first degree. So a very, very known axiom is know thyself. If you know yourself, then it's much easier to, first of all, improve yourself and to communicate yourself. And how do we get to know ourselves? Well, we observe. We look in the mirror, both literally and metaphorically. And talking about values, our internal dialogue on values is right at the core of our being. I like the word core there. Core values is right at the core of who we are. What matters to us? What drives us forward? So think about that as we go along. What are my core values? Write down right now, if you can, your 3 top core values. What is it? Is it respect? Is it integrity? Is it love? Is it love? Support? Is it communication? Is it professionalism? What are your top 3 core values, the most important values? We all have many values, but what are the 3 most important to you? Focusing on the most important will make it easier for you to communicate that outwards. Now, who are you as a person? Yes, but also as a coach. Building on to your values as a person, you know, depending on who you are as a person. we need to also think about our competences. Competences are knowledge, skills, and attitudes. And I really like this little diagram I put here. Our knowledge is symbolized by the brain, so it's what we know. Our skills are symbolized by our hands, so what can we do with our hands? And our attitudes are based on our values, which are symbolized by our hearts. And the combination of knowledge, skills, and attitudes, so our competences, yield our behavior. They shape how we carry ourselves into conversations, into relationships, into exchanges, and of course, how we behave digitally, how we present ourselves digitally. This diagram with the representations also helps to remember how to improve our competences. So if we realize through self-observation that we lack knowledge on a certain topic or in a certain area, we can go out and research. We can attend webinars, we can read books, we can attend courses. There's so many things to gather knowledge. If it's skills that we need to improve, then practice, practice, practice. Very simple. And if it's attitudes that leave us perplexed, or if we're not really clear about our values, then why not talk to a fellow coach? It's always useful to share our reflections with people with whom our thinking agrees. Now, based on our competencies, how do we show up in our coaching sessions? I put here EMCC's competence model for coaches. There are, of course, other coaching bodies globally and other competence models. This is the one I personally work with. So I share it here for self-reflection. Look at these 8 competences and ask yourself, how competent am I? Perhaps from 0 to 10 on each of these. The diagram on the right shows us how they all interlink. So our behavior is the result, as we said, of knowledge, skills, and attitudes. But at the very bottom of that, underpinning both all behavior, knowledge, and skills is our attitudes. And it is our values that shape our attitudes. So that's why our values, we said, are at the very core of who we are, first as human beings and then as coaches, because we are human beings first and foremost. If you've rated yourself from 0 to 10 on these 8 or some of these competences, think, is it knowledge that will help me improve? Is it skills, or is it my attitudes? How can I improve myself on these 3 levels for each of these competences? And there's always room for improvement, of course, nobody's perfect. So how can I use this competence model and this diagram to show up better in my coaching sessions? How do I show up for my clients? How do I use what I know and what I can do so that I facilitate their learning journey? How can I reflect my own learning journey in my coaching role and inspire my clients and collaborators? Now, do you have any special areas of interest, any areas of expertise? You know, there's been for a long time a lot of talk about specialization, expertise, developing expertise. There is a debate around whether we should specialize on one thing and say I'm a, I don't know, leadership specialist. Of course, leadership is an umbrella term. So yeah, one aspect, like I'm a communication specialist, or I'm an art coaching specialist, or whatever it may be for you. But it may be more than one. It's okay to be multi-talented. It's okay to have more than one areas of interest. And it's okay to bring that into your coaching practice. And who you are is also affected and shaped and driven by the impact you want to create in the world around you. What's the theme of your journey? Are you someone who cares about the environment? How do you bring that into your coaching practice? It doesn't need to be separate. You know, if it's an important value for you, if it's something that matters to you, then it's good to bring it into your coaching role and your coaching identity so that you communicate who you are out there in a most impactful way. What's your purpose through your work? What mission have you signed up for? What impact do you want to create around you, whether in your local community or in our global society? And what is it that binds together everything that you do? It may be your hobbies. You may like spending time in nature. You may like playing music. You may like art. So what is it that binds together everything that you do? My answer is values, our values. That's really the backbone of our story. It's the backbone of our identity, and it's the backbone of our existence. This is all about why we are here, why we showed up in this life, what we're here to do, what change we want to create, and how we carry ourselves forward into that journey. So how do we communicate who we really are, bringing all of these things together? Let me share some examples from my experience, from my journey. Who am I as a coach, and who do I work with? I've put some pictures of groups I've worked with that reflect the different groups of people. So I don't only work with youth, I work with adults. So at the bottom is a group of young people. And then in the middle is a group of the elderly, which is again a group I really, really love working with. These people are all over 80 years old. Then at the top, it's the public sector training. So I work with government employees. Top left is a group of asylum seeker women and refugees. Again, a group I care about. And then I have corporate managers. Why? Because I want to communicate my message to anyone and everyone that I can impact and I can support and I can help grow, develop, move forward. To the left, I put some of my coaching clients. At the bottom, to the right, excuse me, at the bottom right, we have, that's my old office, and it's full of art. I love working with artists. I like the creativity and the freedom that they seek to find through their work. They're very occupied by the sense of meaning and what drives their work and their life forward. So that was a very joyful experience for me. I also work with champions. That's a sword fighting champion, and another artist, a graphic artist, 3D artist that I really enjoyed working with. These are just some examples from what I share on my social media and LinkedIn, professional media as well. Why? Because I want to show to people, okay, this is who I am, this is what I do, these are the people I work with, this is my reality, come and join me. Then we look at the why behind our identity. What's the meaning of who we are? Why are we as we are? Let's self-reflect. There are many layers to our identity, and these connect to our place in life, like where we come from, where we grew up, and our various roles in life. I've put here the sun of identity. This is a lovely little exercise that you can do. I've done it for me so I can give you an example. So that's me, Christina. Who am I? What are the layers of my identity? I'm a coach, I'm a trainer, I'm an activist, I'm a volunteer, I'm a coach supervisor, I'm a woman, I'm a lifelong learner, and I'm a Cypriot. It could be less or more. You decide how many layers you want to identify and prioritize in communicating to other people who you are. I felt that these layers of identity are the ones that I tend to bring forward in my communication, in my digital story. So how do you see yourself? Take a moment to draw a little sun and contemplate, what are the layers of my identity? What are the roles that I'm happy to be responsible for in life. And then we think, okay, connected to these roles and to my work in each of these roles, what drives me forward? Again, I go back to my values and I align what I do with my values so that I can draw meaning from my work, from my coaching practice, from all the things that I do and all the things I communicate digitally to other people around the world. It's really important, I find from my experience, to share what gives meaning to what I do. And that meaning is both intrinsic and extrinsic. So it's internal and external. The internal meaning is shaped by my own values and what drives me forward, what gives meaning to my existence and my work. And then there's the meaning that I share with other people. And this meaning is what, at the end of the day, will create the impact that I want. If other people find meaning in what I share, in what I do, then it will touch them, it will affect them, it will hopefully inspire them. If I've managed to touch one person, I'm happy. So sharing again here some examples about my identity, the why behind my identity. I shared here an excerpt from a post. This is a picture from when I was traveling in Morocco last January. So I was walking in the narrow streets of Fez, and there was this small madrasa, a small room, which was a school for Muslim children. And I entered, you know, I was like, can I have a look? Can I see what's happening here? Just, you know, inquisitive and curious by nature. And they were so welcoming and so warm and so enthusiastic and so happy to share in whatever communication method they found. You know, it was mostly smiles and cuddles and body language. You know, see all those little children around me, they all came to give me a cuddle. It was really, really heartwarming. And I wanted to share that. I wanted to communicate that as a message of hope. You know, witnessing, as I say there, the joy of sharing, of learning playfully, of expressing pure love as humans, beyond barriers of language or religion or origin or ethnic background. You know, just speaking the language of the heart. That was very inspiring for me. And I wanted to communicate that. And I found that this example of a post had positive impact. The other picture here, our children deserve a united future, is from a client who is an activist for peace in Cyprus. This is connected to my identity, to what drives me to be a peace activist. And there was a lot of meaning in my sharing this picture of this client that I worked with. The one next to it, of the guy's back, it says, "We are our choices." You know, part of my story. Where am I? I'm traveling, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. What do I see around me? What do I want to share from what I see around me? I was in Prague and I was walking in the street and I just saw this guy walking in front of me. Aha, light bulb went on. We are our choices. Yes, yes, what a wonderful reminder. Let me communicate that. So I share my story. You know, I'm walking in the streets of Prague and I see this. What does it make me think? What does it make me feel? To the far right, that was a conference, a peace education conference, bringing together the two leaders of the two main Cypriot communities, the Republic of Cyprus president, Greek Cypriot in the middle, and then on the far right, the Turkish Cypriot leader and the president of the Republic of the occupied areas in Cyprus, the TRNC. It's very important to me to be part of this peace education project with the Association of Historical Dialogue and Research in the UN buffer zone in Nicosia in Cyprus. So when I worked in this conference, it was important for me to share it and say, hey, look, this is happening. And it's so good to be here and witness this. At the bottom, that's a snapshot from my website where I talk about my values. I sat down and I thought, okay, what are my values? Not my top 3. That's a lot more, I admit. So what are my values? What make me who I am? What do I think is important? And what do I want to have in my experiences, in my relationships, in my work? What do I want to bring to my clients and to my collaborators in any project? Let me communicate that. Then there's a picture of me participating in a training, because apart from being a coach and a trainer and delivering trainings, it's really, really important to me to be a lifelong learner and an avid lifelong learner. I really believe in lifelong development. There's so much we can learn, and the journey never stops. As long as we live, we learn. So let me communicate that. Let me give my message. And at the bottom in the middle is a movement that was initiated during the COVID lockdown. That was the 4x4 movement for offering 4 hours to 4 clients, so 16 hours of pro bono coaching or mentoring and supervision. Solidarity and social responsibility, again, are very close to my heart. And supporting each other, especially through challenging times, is something that gives me meaning. Let me communicate that. So, recognizing our voice. How do we do that? Remember, your voice is your message. What's your message to the world? What's the message of your story? What has your life journey and your work as a coach been so far all about? If you had to put it in one sentence, what would that sentence be? What would it say? What are you here to share? What are you here to say? What are you here to sing? Have you ever heard yourself sing? Have you observed yourself in conversations where you become passionate? Which conversations are those? Which conversations are those that make you feel passionate? And which topics are those that light your fire and make you want to go out there and do something? Create some impact, create some change. Definitely, there is a reason why you're a coach. You chose to be a coach. You didn't choose to be something else. And whoever you are, there's a reason for you being who you are. Find that reason, find your message, find your voice, and communicate it. We live in a universe of sound. I really like this. Everything in our world has a frequency. This is physics. I'm not a physics expert, but I know this much. Everything has a frequency, and this frequency can be translated into sound. So if we think of that as a blueprint of existence, what's your sound like? You know, the Bible, this is a biblical reference, no religion connotation whatsoever. The Bible begins, in the beginning, there was the word. You know, the word, by uttering a sound, there was manifestation. So what we express, what we voice, reveals a lot about our intentions, about the intention of my being in this world, in this universe. What's the world I want to live in like? And what am I doing to make that happen? How am I communicating that? And how do I embrace my voice? Okay, let's think. What led you to be a coach? Why did you do it? And why do you still do it? What's your story? What's your message in a sentence? Please do that exercise if you haven't. What meaning do you draw from your coaching practice? What meaning do you draw from whatever projects you're involved in? It doesn't all have to be about coaching. It doesn't all have to be about A or B or C. You are a whole being. So how do you bring the whole of you into your coaching practice? How do you carry yourself into your coaching relationships? How do you feel when you do that? And how do you express that in a way that makes sense to other people? and has meaning for them, inspires them. Yes, we do need to be brave. We need to be confident in order to be our true, authentic self. It's important to show it. It's important to show up in the world as who we really are. Results will show up when you do. So when you show up as the whole of you, then your coaching practice is bound to reflect that. It will grow because you bring the whole of you into that with authenticity, with confidence, with openness. You embrace it. You embrace your voice, you embrace your message, you embrace your impact, and you make it happen. Your voice is your message, and that is the impact you want to create. What's the whole point of being as you are? Who are your role models? Who inspires you? Who do you want to be like? Not in terms of comparison or jealousy, but in terms of inspiration. You know, who inspires you and why do they inspire you? What do you find inspiring about them? What is it about their voice that spoke to you? What message did you receive from them? What impact did they create? And why does that matter to you? And then think about your story. Some examples of how I shared my voice. There are some examples from conferences here, online webinars, radio shows, online conferences, TV shows, the newspaper, Coacharya's interview with Magda very recently, and then me with the radio headphones. I used to have a radio show. It was called Emerging Voices. I had that on an online community, multi-communal radio station, which unfortunately had to shut down because of budgetary issues. But my message there was very important. So I share it. It's all out there. It's part of my digital presence. It's part of my story. The show was called Emerging Voices, and it was a platform, an amplifier for the voices marginalized by mass media. So I wanted to give marginalized experts, organizations, or groups the opportunity to share their message for positive social transformation. It's still part of my digital journey because marginalized groups are something I really care about. I really care about who is left out. I care about inclusion. It's an important value for me. I care about solidarity, equality, equity. So I wanted to have this consciously as part of my story out there. Authenticity is our greatest ally. Why? Because the world only has one of you. You can't really be anyone else, so you might as well embrace who you are and be authentic. Lead yourself in an authentic way. Be open, be transparent. It's okay to make mistakes. It's okay because we learn and we grow and we improve. There's nobody that has ever lived as a human and not made a single mistake. It's fine, it's part of the journey. So we learn, we embrace who we are, we celebrate who we are, and we share that with the world. We are here in a spirit of celebration. We celebrate life, we celebrate our existence, and we celebrate what we share together. There's so much negativity going around, and I'm not saying let's be super positive all the time. No, I'm very realistic. Let's be grounded. And this is being grounded. This is going deep, daring, having the courage to go deep and see, okay, what is it that matters to me? Let me share that in a spirit of celebration so that I invite others to join me in this celebration. And the world is yours as much as it is anyone else's. This is all for us to enjoy together. So if we're not authentic, if we're not ourselves, then what is the world missing out on? What's the price we are paying if we're not ourselves? There is a price. What is it? And what are we depriving other people from by not being ourselves, by not doing what we want to do? Think of that as a responsibility. We have free will. We can choose to be who we are, who we want to be. And with that choice comes the responsibility of sharing that. Now, I want to make a point about service. Seeing our journey as a mission with a targeted impact is a journey of service, a service to ourselves. So we do justice to ourselves, to be open and transparent and true and authentic, true to our values and authentic. We are who we really are, and we communicate that. And that's a service also to the world, because we lead by example. And coaches are great role models. You are a great role model to the people around you, to your collaborators, to your clients. And not everybody is going to find the meaning you find in your story, and that's fine. It's great to be different. We are all rich in our diversity. So never mind if you encounter people along your journey that don't support you. Never mind if you find a bunch of obstacles ahead of you, one after the other after the other. It's all part of the journey. It's all part of how we can learn, how we can grow, and how we can show up as our true selves and serve, create that impact. Also, by being authentic, we allow and we invite other people to be authentic as well. We live in a world where authenticity is often talked about, but is not enough practiced. Why don't we change that? Some examples from my journey. So let's start with the owl. That's my animal. I'm an owl. I confess, since I was little, I've been telling everyone I'm an owl. That has a particular meaning for me. And in a playful way, because playfulness is important to me, in a playful way, I communicate that. Why an owl? Well, it's a symbol of wisdom. It was a symbol of wisdom in ancient Greece, and it was part of my early education. So wisdom is a very, very high value for me. It's the result of all the lessons, lesson upon lesson upon lesson. We build ourselves. And as we build ourselves, we build our experience. And the value of that experience is in the wisdom that we gain. So I put the owl there. It's not about how you look, it's about how you see. What are your specs like? What if you change your specs? What if you take them off? To the left of that, as you're looking at the screen, I shared, this is Andrea Zafirakis. She won an award, a global award, for being an impactful teacher and creating positive impact through art. Now, I went to her lecture in Cyprus. I watched her. I was so inspired. I had to come back and communicate that, because she was so authentic in leading herself in that role as a teacher. That was so inspiring. I had to come back and say, hey, guys, look her up. She's amazing. What a role model. She's so authentic. And she created her impact because of that authenticity. Now, underneath that photo, that's me in a bus. Again, a moment of inspiration. That bus driver is called Menyos. I had a little adventure last February. I was supposed to travel, and then something happened. I couldn't travel. So I took the bus to the airport, and then I took the bus home. And then I took the bus the next day again to the airport to actually make it on my journey. And Menyos was the driver on all three rides. So, he was asking me what happened and why are you going back and forth and what's going on and so on. So I shared some obstacles I found and so on. And I found inspiration in a simple sharing that he made. He said, we were talking about self-reflection. He said, you know, when I go to bed at night, I think, were the good deeds I did today more than the bad ones? I ask myself that. And if the answer is yes, then I sleep well. I was like, in that moment, I drew strength from that. Yeah, I'm a coach, but I'm still a person. I still experience life. And I still get frustrated sometimes. It's fine. Embrace our authenticity. This is part of who I am. It's fine. Okay, we manage that. I found inspiration in what this bus driver shared. I came and communicated that. Why should I hold on to a gift to myself when I can share it? There's so much joy in sharing. Now, next to menus are a couple of screenshots from my website. That's the middle one is my story, which I call my story. And that's where I talk about my journey to becoming a coach, my learning journey, my work experience, my education. And I start from the ultimate meaning for myself. I say, I remember knowing only love, unconditional love for life. I remember being joyful, creative, free. So I went back to the core values that I have as a person. And I went back to the purest state where I experienced these when I was a child. And I summoned that, you know, I recall that, I remember it, let me communicate it, because that's where I find meaning. And the picture next to that, honor and celebrate yourself with every choice you make. Yes, that represents me. We honor ourselves. We celebrate ourselves with the choices we make, because we do have choices. We do have free will. And the choices we make come with responsibility. How do we show up? Then on top of that, in the corner is a picture of some mentoring support I gave to young people. It was part of the Friends Forever International training in America, where here I'm working with a Palestinian and a Jewish teenager. That has a lot of meaning for me. Supporting young people has a lot of meaning for me. This is, you know, I'm not posing. I'm not wearing this wonderful red dress that you're seeing in all my pictures. I'm just me with a t-shirt, with my water bottle. I'm just, you know, myself, supporting them and guiding them forward. That has meaning for me. Next to that, it was part of my training as a youth trainer by the European Commission. And we had to climb a mountain and do a group reflection on top of the mountain. That was an amazing moment for me. So inspiring, so fulfilling, so wonderful. Let me share it. And then last but not least, it is what you do in the dark that puts you in the light. I actually saw this on a window shop in Edinburgh on the 22nd of April, 2016. They were renovating the shop and they put this on the window. I thought, how smart and how inspiring. Let me share that. That really, really touched me, because we do find ourselves in dark moments. We do find ourselves in dark spaces. And that's exactly the time to remember, what can I do to shine my light again? What can I do in being my true, authentic self to communicate outwards all the positivity that I carry, because we all have talents and strengths and a positive message to the world. It's just a matter of tapping into that. Again, part of my travels, and you know, I saw something, I was inspired. Let me share that. Very raw, very authentic, very me. It speaks to whoever it speaks to, and that's fine. At the same time, I allow myself to be myself, to be authentic, and that has a lot of meaning for me. Yeah, be brave. We need to sing our message. Remember, it's a learning journey. And we can choose to have the courage to attempt communication. We're not going to have, success with every attempt. A very simple way of saying that in terms of digital presence is that not all posts are going to be as successful or as popular or get as many likes, but it's okay. Put yourself out there, acknowledge yourself, acknowledge your achievements. Even if you fail in that effort, you can still learn. It's okay, it's a process. And embracing that, embracing the process, embracing the learning journey has a lot of meaning. I really like this quote attributed to Pablo Picasso. The meaning of life is to find your gift. The purpose of life is to give it away. So how do we find the courage to communicate our gift, to give our gift, to let people know that, hey, this is the gift I have to the world and I'm communicating it to you. I'm inviting you to come and join me. A word about the impact we wish to create in the world. I said earlier that we make choices, and with our choices come responsibility. Whether we realize it or not, our choices do come with responsibility. And finding the courage to be ourselves is actually finding the courage to take responsibility to be ourselves. So we lead our ship. That's a little word game. I like word games, so that's a part of me. Leadership, lead our ship. So we lead our ship through the levels of responsibility. We have the personal level, my person. I want to lead myself, lead my life. Yeah. I want to lead my community. My community may be my family. It may be my choir. It may be my volleyball group team. It may be any team I'm part of. It doesn't mean I have to be the president or the leader, but I'm still leading myself on a communal level because I'm considering how I show up on a community level, how my personality and myself impacts that community. Again, we go to the social level. This can be the society of our country or our state, depending on how big our country is. Cyprus is tiny, so I can just talk about the country in my case. And then the global society. We know how, small the world is. And again, I'm going to say, the COVID lockdown has showed us how close we are. This webinar attests that. We are from so many countries here, from India, from America, from Cyprus, from Greece, from, South Africa. Amazing. Thailand. There's so many people here. We are all in it together. We are all on this global level together. We are all global citizens and humans. So let's be the change we want to see in the world. Finding the courage. Oh, here I am. Here I am. It's not easy to talk, to share all these examples. There's a little debate inside me saying, hey, you're talking too much about yourself, or you're boasting, or who are you to share? Hey, it's okay. This is me, authentic. I'm finding the courage to share these examples from my journey in the hope that this will inspire you or prompt you to embrace your voice as a coach. It takes courage, and I want to walk my talk. So if I'm going to talk to you about finding the courage to embrace your voice as a coach, I need to be doing that. And that's my attempt today. So the examples here, well, an amazing accomplishment I'm really proud of is that I received the EMCC Global Coaching Award last month for 2019. A picture above that is with the British High Commissioner last Christmas, where I received acknowledgement for a British Chevening Scholarship that I had that 14 years ago. But hey, I got it last year. It's fine. Reason to celebrate? Yes. Okay, let's communicate that. Then the EMCC Global Impact Before Income Social Responsibility Project in Africa, which I'm co-leading with a colleague in Malaysia. I'm really proud, of that. And I had to find the courage to put myself out there and say, okay, I'm going to have responsibility for this huge project, which has amazing potential for amazing impact, touching on a lot of people's lives and giving them the tools and the courage to embrace their own voices as who they are as entrepreneurs. Leaderonomics, my most recent family. I very recently became the Europe representative of Leaderonomics. Leaderonomics is a company, a social enterprise actually, in Malaysia that focuses on the science of building leaders. They are amazing. If you haven't heard of them, please look them up. And if you want to find out more, please reach out. To the left of that, Friends Forever International, the youth leadership in conflict areas work that I mentioned earlier. And that's a picture of me with another 2 adult members of the team in Cyprus. We are community leaders in that. At the bottom is my interview as EMCC Cyprus president in the EMCC Global Spring newsletter. That's my voice. That's where I had to find the courage, again, to express my thoughts, my values, my views in my role as a president of EMCC Cyprus. And then in the middle, last but not least, my humble profile in One Woman at a Time, the initiative that supports domestically abused women. Again, I had to find the courage to take responsibility for that. So, what are your gifts to the world? What are your talents? What are your strengths? What do you know how to do really well? What brings you joy when you do it? Remember joy. Joy is so important. There's so much misery around us. It's so easy to get carried away and stay miserable. Please remember to find joy wherever it may lie for you. What fires up your passion when you do it? Joy and passion can go hand in hand. What fires up your passion? What are you passionate about? What matters to you? We change as things around us change. Yes, we live in a VUCA world, vulnerable, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous. Volatile, sorry, not vulnerable, but we are vulnerable in it. So it's okay, it's a journey. What helps us keep everything together as we move on? Our values. So keep your values as the backbone to your story. And going back to branding for a moment, your brand is you at any point in time, whether you are a solopreneur, a freelancer like me or not. Who you are is your brand. Offer it, communicate it, serve it, voice it, embrace it, lead yourself, lead your life, lead your career, lead your community. That's my professional motto. That's my motto. And again, you see the owl, of course. So finding the courage to embrace our voice as coaches is about embracing who we are and making that available. Allow me to share part of my reflection. I've been coaching for 9 years now, and I only created a website about a year ago, and my Facebook page a little more than a year ago. I didn't need to because I got work by word of mouth. However, at some point I thought, how can I put myself out there more? Not to get more work because I was satisfied with what I had, but to own my responsibility as a coach. How can I be more transparent? How can I be more available to people that I can support, to people whose lives I can add value to? How can people find me? If I'm on this mission, if I'm gonna be a coach and I want to create XYZ impact, then how do I put myself out there and become global? We come back to the digital presence. We need to have a digital presence in this world, in a globalized world. Oh, what is this macabre thing? Memento mori. Memento mori, means, well, there's a whole phrase there in Latin. I'm not sure if I'm going to read it correctly. I'm going to try. Quid agis prudenter agas et respis finem. Whatever you do, do it wisely and consider the end. In other words, remember, you will die. This sounds very negative, but it's actually, you know what, without negative or positive value judgment, it's just what it is. It's part of the life cycle. And depending on the culture you grew up in, you may be celebrating death or mourning it. Now, whether we mourn it or celebrate it, it's still a part of life. And this painting from the 18th century, it shows a skull on a desk. Philosophers used to have a skull on their desk to remind them that, hey, remember, we're gonna die, stick to the meaning, look at the big picture. Stick to what matters to you. Let's not get bogged down by the small stuff. Let's keep the big picture alive and our perspective accurate as possible. Now, there's a little big funny word there, hysterophemia. In Greek, it's hysterophemia. What does it mean? It means how people will remember you. This was very, very important in ancient Greece. People actually had it as a life purpose. Okay, what legacy will I leave behind me when I die, when I pass? What do you want your legacy to be? If you were to decide upon a beautiful, inspiring, impactful hysterophemia, what would it be? What's your message in a sentence? Is that the legacy you want to leave behind you? Because, hey, all we are is dust in the wind. That's all we are. We come, we go. It's a journey. Let's make it matter. Let's focus on what we care about and communicate that. Moving forward, let me suggest, choose one thing that you heard today in this webinar that you wish to focus on. It may be your message in a sentence. It may be working more closely with your values so that you can articulate more accurately your core values. You can identify them. It may be with your competences, your skills, your knowledge, your attitude. It may be about how you communicate digitally on a more practical level. How do you shape your posts? How do you make them authentic? How do you voice who you are as a coach out there? Choose one thing and make a decision on what you're going to do about that in going forward. Commit now. Commit right now to yourself to one thing. If you would like to share it in the chat box, please do. I'm curious to see. But make a decision to start working on it immediately after this webinar. Even if you've got something else to do, make a pledge to yourself to come back to it. It's important to find the courage to embrace your voice as a coach and put it out there and communicate it effectively so that you share the meaning that you draw from your coaching practice and so that that communication will touch others' lives. Find out who you are and do it on purpose, as Dolly Parton said. Do it on purpose, do it with pride, do it with joy. Do it with joy and authenticity and celebration. Say, hey, I'm here. Hey world, I'm here. This is what I want to create. Thank you so much for being here. We do have some time left, a couple of minutes. I'm happy to stay on for longer and answer any questions we may have. This is where you can find me. That's my website, my email, my Facebook page, and my Instagram. Please feel free to reach out if you want to ask anything on a more personal level, if you want to share your feedback about this webinar, if you want to stay connected, feel free to reach out. I'm going to stop sharing my screen now.
And I will jump in quickly. So everyone, we will put this up on our blog. So don't worry if you missed something or if you missed the connection details for Christina. I did wanted to add something else, actually. If you don't know what you are yet, if you don't know your purpose yet, we're actually doing a little course on this in a couple of months. I'm going to put, I just put a link in the chat for everybody. It's called Create Your Future, and it's not specific to coaches. It's specific to, well, it's not specific. It's for everybody, but it's essentially, it's Ram, Coacharya founder, is going to read it. I've been through this process. That's why I love it, love it, love it, and can speak firsthand. But essentially, it's a set of tools and meditations and thinking exercises to help you figure out what is your purpose. What is the one thing that, you know, when your time is out, when you're on your deathbed, you're like, yeah, I'm good. I did a good job. And when I went through this process, for me, what I thought that my purpose was around helping animals, frankly. I love animals. I'm a big advocate, and I still am, but that's not my purpose. My purpose, I've realized, is to help women who don't speak up for themselves, who have hangups about their bodies, their experiences, their whatever. So a lot of things like I do, like the interview I did with Christina, for me, it's part of my Wonder Woman Wednesdays. For me, it's part of the purpose that I have, which is to give women a voice, to make women heard, to make women feel good about themselves and figure out that the world can just go and suck it, frankly. Because we are amazing and awesome. And you guys too. We have lots of men who are allies and we love men too. But my purpose is around women. So long story short, I think it would be great for you guys to please check out that course. And even if you don't want to do it, that's perfectly fine. But if you know somebody in your life who is looking to find their purpose, I encourage you to share that with them, because it's a really great lesson in self-awareness. And it'll help you if you're a coach. It'll help you if you're not a coach. So Magda out. Christina, any questions for Christina? I'm sure Mita has been keeping track of those.
Yeah, I think Christina did a very good job of looking at the chat while speaking and putting that in. I did notice. I kind of did, actually. You have. But, you know, something I do want I do want to share something that came to mind while you were speaking. I've written it down. It's like, you know how generally we always think that about letting our work speak for ourselves. But one thing that I think really came out for me that I learned through your presentation today was that it's important to speak for your work. So stand up and speak for your work, because that plays a huge role in nourishing it. So thank you so much, Christina, for being here. You've been very generous with your time, both for planning this webinar and being here. So yes, and thank you everyone for staying and joining us and with your inputs through the chat. We love you and we hope to see you soon again.
Yes,
Christina,
thank you so much,
I will echo that. Sorry to jump in. Stand up for your work. I love that. And it's something that I don't do. So you also said to us, you know, that everyone should do something after this webinar. So I have not blogged on my blog in, I don't know, 7 years. I have not posted a LinkedIn article in 3 years, probably. So that's what I'm going to do. So because I am very, very proud of the work that we are doing at Coacharya. And I'm very proud of meeting women like yourself, meeting coaches like yourself. So I think I need to start standing up for my work. So that's what I'm going to do.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing that, Magda. And now it's public. You have to do it.
That's why I did it.
No, it's very, very inspiring to share that. Thank you. And I want to thank you for giving me this opportunity, for inviting me onto this webinar. It's been a really, really beautiful journey. Thank you for your support, Magda and Nishimita. And I want to admit that I didn't see the chat until I was done. But I'm glad there was alignment. Hey, we all echo with each other. So it's great. I want to thank everyone for their amazing comments. I'm so touched. I'm truly humbled. There's some questions that my hope is that they have been answered. So, for example, how do we find our core values. I think through the presentation, I covered that. If anyone has any other question, please feel free to reach out. I'm always open to communication. There's some beautiful, beautiful feedback. And it's just great, so beautiful. Thank you to everyone who has joined from around the world, so many countries. There's a lot of reflection shared in the chat, which I think is very valuable. You know, making people think is always a great thing. Axiogenics, that's very interesting. Thank you, Joanne. It's such a pleasure, really. And there's so many more. People are asking if the slides will be shared. I'm very happy to share if you like. It will be also, the recording will be on the YouTube channel of Coacharya. And there's a question, I think, to Coacharya. Can we earn a CCEU for this webinar?
I've answered that.
Sure
So since this is a business of coaching webinar, we will not be issuing CCUs for this one.
Okay. Ah, you did. Yes, I'm seeing it now. I'm still going through them. Okay, fantastic. Thank you for sharing that course, Magda. It seems really valuable for anyone who wants to become a better leader of themselves, whether they're coaches or not. A really, really valuable afternoon, well, an hour. So thank you so much and all the best to you. Have a beautiful evening, morning. I don't know what it is where you are, but have a beautiful time. And
it's 1 o'clock, no matter where you are.
Oh, Magda. Fantastic. Take care, everyone. Thank you so much.
Myself.
All right. Bye.
Bye, everyone.